Why are we so addicted to stories? We'll stay up all night to finish a novel, binge watch an entire series in a single weekend, and pay good money to sit in a dark room and watch fictional people have fictional problems. From an evolutionary standpoint, this seems like a bizarre waste of time and energy. But what if it's not? What if our obsession with story is not a frivolous pastime but a deep biological survival mechanism? What if our brains are not just entertained by stories but are literally wired for them? This is the fascinating and revolutionary premise of Lisa Cron's brilliant book, Wired for Story. This book is not just a guide for writers, it is a user's manual for the human brain. It's a deep dive into the neuroscience of narrative, revealing the secret science-backed reasons why stories have such a powerful and inescapable grip on us. Today on Geeky Philosopher we are going to explore the hidden architecture of our story-addicted minds. The first and most important myth that Lisa Cron dismantles is our belief that stories are about beautiful language or clever plots. While those things are nice, they are not what the brain is actually looking for. So, what is the brain looking for? One thing: information that will help it survive. Cron explains that our brain is, first and foremost, a survival machine. Its primary job is to constantly make predictions about the future to keep us safe and help us navigate the complex social world. And what is the single most effective tool for simulating future scenarios and learning crucial survival information? A story. A story is a piece of cognitive software. It is a cause-and-effect simulation that allows us to experience difficult situations and learn from them without having to suffer the real-world consequences. A good story is not an escape from reality, it is a deep engagement with it. It is a powerful form of learning that our brains crave. This is why we are so picky about the stories we consume. If a story doesn't provide our brain with useful survival-based information, we get bored. We call it unrealistic or pointless. Our brain is not looking for pretty words, it is looking for a workout. If a story is a simulation, then what is it simulating? It is simulating a single, focused struggle. Cron argues that every single compelling story, from ancient myths to modern blockbusters, is about one thing: a protagonist who is struggling to overcome a difficult problem that stands in the way of a crucial goal. The plot is not just a series of, and then this happened, and then this happened. That's a boring anecdote. A real story is a chain of cause and effect, where every event is linked to the protagonist's internal struggle. This leads to the book's most important piece of practical advice for anyone who wants to tell a story. You must know the protagonist's internal issue. What is the core underlying misconception or fear that this character has been struggling with their entire life? A car chase is not a story, but a car chase where the hero is trying to overcome their lifelong cowardice to save someone they love. That is a story. The external plot is just the arena where the internal struggle is made visible. Our brain doesn't care about the car chase, it cares about the change happening inside the protagonist's mind, because that is the part that contains the real, learnable lesson. How does a storyteller keep our brains hooked? They do it by constantly making our brains ask the one question they are biologically programmed to find irresistible: what happens next? This is not just about suspense, it is about creating a constant, unfolding puzzle. Cron explains that our brains are prediction machines. They are constantly trying to figure out the pattern, to guess what's coming. A good story is a masterclass in setting up these predictions, and then either confirming them in a satisfying way or subverting them in a surprising way. Every scene, every sentence, should be a link in a cause and effect chain. The storyteller's job is to create a sense of unavoidable momentum. This happens because of that, and because of this, that must happen next. When a story feels random or episodic, our predictive brain checks out. It senses that there is no underlying pattern to learn from, so it gets bored. The feeling of being hooked is the feeling of your brain being completely and totally engaged in the cognitive work of solving the puzzle of what happens next. For our brains to take a story seriously as a simulation, we must believe in the world it presents. This doesn't mean the world has to be realistic in the normal sense. It can be a world of wizards or spaceships, but it must have its own internal logic and consistency. Cron argues that the most important details in a story are not the ones that describe the color of the curtains. The most important details are the ones that reveal something about the protagonist's struggle. If your character is struggling with a feeling of poverty, then the detail about the worn-out soles of their shoes is crucial. If they are struggling with a feeling of loneliness, then the detail about them eating dinner alone in a silent apartment is crucial. Every detail must be there for a reason. It must be a piece of data that our brain can use to better understand the central cause and effect problem of the story. A good story is a world where everything is relevant, and everything is a clue. This is what makes a fictional world feel more real and more meaningful than our own often chaotic and random reality. Wired for Story is so much more than a guide for writers. It is a profound look in the mirror. It reveals that the deep, universal structures of narrative are not just out there in our books and movies, they are in here, in the very wiring of our brains. We are all storytellers. We are constantly narrating our own lives, trying to make sense of the chaos, trying to find a pattern of cause and effect. We are all the protagonists of our own story, struggling with our own internal issues, trying to achieve a difficult goal. Lisa Cron's book is a powerful invitation to become more conscious of this process. It gives us a new appreciation for the incredible power of a well-told story to teach, to connect, and to move us. But more than that, it gives us a set of tools to become better authors of our own lives. It encourages us to ask, what is the real underlying struggle in my own life? What is the story I'm telling myself? And is that story serving me? By understanding the science of how stories work, we can finally begin to write a better one for ourselves. The world is made of stories, and so are we. Learning to see and understand the hidden architecture of narrative is to understand the very architecture of the human mind. If you are a student of story, a seeker of meaning, and someone who believes that our narratives have the power to shape our reality, then you are a part of this great conversation. Consider subscribing to Geeky Philosopher, where we are dedicated to exploring the powerful stories that make us human. Thank you for being here.